Today, Precarious plays
Hades. Alright, I lied. I can't keep it to myself. Octopath Traveler. I think that you should still play it.
Yeah.
But I think that you should just play through with whatever party you form first.
And just not worry about finishing it.
And just ask me about what happens after that, because it's... How to describe it? I tried to clear the super final boss once already, and after seeing it, after recognizing like the flaws inherent to that, the challenge of it, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to very, very calmly grind up probably about 10 levels, I think, ought to do it. Basically, my goal now is to grind to the point where my stats are the same without my accessories, so I can use my accessories to make me resistant to fire and dark damage.
Okay. So I'll just play until it's not fun anymore. Or until it's about to be not fun anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of running into the same thing. I'm finally hitting the wall, my personal wall with my roguelike of Crypt of the Necrodancer. I think I'm finally to the point where I'm like, you know what? I don't care if I ever get any further than this. Because the thing that I was really enjoying about that game that kept me playing was the fact that you continued to unlock things and make progress.
Yeah.
In the lobby. And that's not completely untrue now. Like, occasionally there'll be something to unlock. But, and this might just be a demonstration of my own, like, medium core skill level. But I've gotten to the point where I've unlocked just about everything that you can unlock. And the only thing that I can spend diamonds on is, like, rehearsing bosses, which I don't actually find all that useful.
Really? Because I couldn't beat King Congo until I practiced it.
Well, for me, the thing is that, like, if I have the right drops, like a combination of something that is keeping my hearts up and something that is, like, better than the initial dagger, I can usually beat most things now. And whenever I don't, it's because I did a stupid thing, you know? So, I don't know, like, I have all of the skills that I need. So basically, whenever I don't do a good run, it is either because I'm too tired and I did a stupid, you know? Which happens, because the nice thing about this game is that it only takes me like 2 seconds to play a couple of runs, so I can fit it in between just about everything. Like, I can play a run while my tea is brewing, you know, which is really handy. Like, I can't say that about any game that I can think of. I can't, like...
Guitar Hero.
A 3-minute song?
Okay, maybe not a 3-minute song.
Yeah. My tea takes 3 minutes to brew, okay?
Brew longer tea, nerd!
No, I don't like bitter tea.
Do you even brew? Do you even steep?
Gosh.
But you don't even steep.
You know, if you know what you were saying, you don't drink, you don't even steep. Anyways, it's
What the
important.
hell?
Oversteep tea is gross, okay? It makes it bitter. It makes it less good than the beautiful thing that it is. It requires good timing. Anyways, I don't know why you got me all mad about the tea. But here's the tea. Here's my tea. My tea is that game, it might be over for me because whenever I have the two things that I need, which is health and a decent weapon at the same time, I do really well. You know? But if I don't have most of my health and a decent weapon, then it ends in 2 seconds, and it's just like that every time. You know, so at this point, I feel like I have the skill to progress, but sometimes it's just unfair. You know, which is very roguelike. It's very, very roguelike. So
Here comes our guest.
I don't know if that's a problem.
You've ample time for fishing, have you, stranger? And here I thought you'd more important business to attend to, though it's not for me to judge, I guess.
I'll have you know, some of us take matters of fishing very seriously, sir. Besides, helps take my mind off having to fight your Elysian brethren non-stop.
Oh, I'd not take your mind off this fight if it's one that you hope to win, stranger. I once took my mind off a fight and, well, I wound up here.
Anyways.
Ooh, here's a small, another bit of aggravating, what I consider to be an oversight in this game that's a bit of a bother.
Yeah.
I think that he will let you take the Kiss of Sticks premium,
Yeah.
even if your Death Defiance is full.
Oh.
I once accidentally just misclicked
Oh.
and grabbed it, and it's like, guys, you could gray that out for people. That'd be kind. Just don't put it on the list if Death Defiance is full, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like how
Thank you, sir.
there are treasure troves that once you open them, they will drop their reward on the ground. Oh, there it is. They will drop their reward on the ground and you can actually leave without picking it up.
Oh. Yeah.
And it's like, why didn't you just put that straight into my inventory? But whenever, like, that's on the list of major complaints that come to
Yeah.
mind, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good position to be in.
So you're still happy with this roguish game?
Yeah, from start to finish.
Assuming this is the finish and it doesn't unlock an entire new game. It just like automatically downloads like the next title. Like it's just like, and now we have Olympus. Now you get Olympus, which is much more like Transistor. You know?
It actually is.
It is Transistor. Yeah, it's just Transistor, but in the before times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the strategery part of it really polished instead of the action part of it really polished. That would be nice. I would like that. Wouldn't you?
In many ways, I think that this game mechanically feels like a sequel, most to Transistor.
It totally does. I mean, like, we talked about it when we had just started playing it, and it's like, this feels like Transistor, but finished.
Now, here's a dicey proposition, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel like Supergiant games really don't seem like developers that are keen on repeating themselves.
Yeah.
I do think that they have some core interests that they are looking to iterate upon.
Mm-hmm.
But if they ever wanted to do a much more direct sequel, or like a director's cut of sorts for Transistor, because that game, looking at it now, I recognize that it had an implied looping chronology. Remember, because of how it ends?
Yeah.
And what did they call it? Recursion.
Yeah.
After thinking about it through the lens of Hades, if they wanted to do like reuse the assets, right, and turn Transistor into something a little closer to Hades, I wouldn't hate it. I
mean, like, it's crystal clear that this is a successor, you know? Like, you couldn't doubt it at all.
I don't know about all of that.
No, it's so similar.
No, because I mean it. Like, just the fact that a lot of people, I'm sure, just remember Transistor as a turn-based game with a really panicked live-action in between that you had to play to get back to playing the turn-based game.
Okay, well, maybe some people could miss it, but the thing is that, like, after sitting down with you and playing through Transistor, like, this looks like the logical next step. This looks like the fully baked version, you know? Except for it's not turn-based. So I wonder, like, I really think they could make the flip side of this, like the turn-based of Transistor. You know, like finish those thoughts around the turn-based system.
I don't know. I feel like if they wanted to try a system like that again, I think I would prefer if they found a way to better incentivize players to, like, I think that if there's one thing, a single thing that you can attribute to Supergiant games generally,
Yeah.
it's that they are quite talented at incentivizing play in a certain style, right?
Yeah.
Like they've got a goal in mind and they know how to encourage players to do what they wanted them to do. They're great DMs, basically. So I think that one of Transistor's greatest failings really is that I don't think that there was a good excuse to stay, to actually play, to keep trying to fight while you were in live action mode. So I think if they found, okay, so here's an example. Maybe your turn-based mode, even if it only takes like a handful of attacks, if they reworked things so that your turn-based energy, which is generally superior to like the damage, like you have the precision and the time to think through a plan in the turn-based mode. So I think that it could be a powerful tool.
Yeah.
If it only cooled down from attacking enemies in live action in real time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you had to.
Yeah, so
I wonder...
So something like that where it's like, no, you gotta engage with both halves of this title.
Do you know what they're working on right now? Any idea?
As far as I'm aware, they're still just supporting Hades. I don't know if this is the kind of thing that they would be down for. Just because, I mean, to be blunt, it feels very common. It feels very low.
Okay.
But if they wanted to do some DLC for this game, like a big expansion pack,
yeah,
just throwing it out there.
Olympus.
Sure, maybe Olympus as a new area.
Yeah.
Or because the aspects of all of your weapons are so multinational, maybe something weirder. Maybe Zagreus falls deeper underground and inexplicably winds up in another culture's afterlife.
Oh, wow. Yikes.
just for kicks, right? Just to have a different aesthetic. But how much time do we have left in this episode?
About 1 minute.
Okay, I'm gonna linger here just so we can talk about this because I'm interested in it. Oh, here, we'll peruse. Ah, yes.
Cabbages.
Ripe, not ripe. Overripe. There are some deities that they excluded from this title, and I think maybe it was a little too obvious, or maybe they thought that, like, this sort of treads on what we're doing with Dionysus. You know, we don't need to have this. The fact that Apollo isn't here with some fire damage is odd to me. I would actually like to see if they took it if they included a god, like a fire god. There are, I think, a few different ones they could go with, now that I'm thinking about it. If it was sort of like a Blood Knight risk-reward situation where, like, your attacks damage you, but on hit, they heal you, because fire, I think, gets a bad rap a lot of the time, and I always like it when games acknowledge, like, well, yeah, I mean, fire hurts, but you also use it to cook food.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting if you had a set of boons that were mainly about, like, anytime you attack, you're injured by that boon, but if you hit, you restore HP, and it usually winds up being a small net positive, and then the goal is just be mindful, aim your attacks well, right?
Yeah.
That could be cool. But maybe they don't have any interest in that. So I think that the thing that I would like to see most, I know that we spent like a whole episode talking about, like, oh, well, a director's cut of Transistor could be cool, where they reworked it to be more a little more like Hades, or Hades DLC could be cool. But the thing that I think I would want to see most from them is just a new weird thing, because
because they do good.
I think after having beaten Transistor and having played it another, I think, like 6 or 7 hours after we were done with it on the show, and I was like, I think I'm done with this game.
Yeah, and then you were like, let me just a few more hours.
Well, the mechanics were a lot of fun once recursion had set in. I just wish that the first run had been like that.
Yeah.
I think that they're 4 for 4? Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, and Hades. I think that's all 4. I hope I didn't miss one. I apologize to that almost probably certainly very good game, but I can't think of another developer with a track record like that. This feels a little like, it feels weirdly cliche, but I kind of feel like they're like the Pixar of games, where it's the worst one is still great.
Yeah, so it's like, dude, I don't care. Just make something. I'm
like,
watching. I'm waiting.
You want to go watch Cars 2 right now? I mean, if it was on,
if it was on, it would. I mean, like, fine.
We'll go play Transistor, and then we'll watch Cars 2, and it'll be good. It'll be fine.
Yeah.